Trisha the grifter strutting down round Bev B's yard. Brown loafer heels clicking like she owning it all. She found a lonely old woman. Trisha got a sparkle in her eye. Sweet tea and sympathy, then wave that phone goodbye.
She coos, oh honey, let me help you text your friends.
Next thing you know, that iPhone sliding in her purse and that phone is gone again.
Inheritance check.
Signed, sealed, delivered with a kiss. Trisha's laughing and dreaming about all the way to the bank. Trisha's got that sparkle in her smile, that devil in her stride.
Stealing purses, phones, and bank accounts.
Bonita Stacy's Clyde.
Trisha the grifter, queen of the con.
Grifting lonely ladies from dusk till dawn.
Phones and fortune, she takes them with glee. Funding her fabulous, ridiculous spree. Gold brooch pin right there on her chest.
Flashing brighter than the lie she tells best.
Trisha the grifter.
Ooh, what a thief living large on somebody else's money.
New fur coat dripping diamonds on her wrist. Attacking John Ramsey, he is at the top of her list. John Bonet, who she tweets with a sneer while sipping champagne that cost a whole year. She's got a brand new wardrobe looking oh so fine, but did she steal those fancy threads from Beth B's closet line?
Closet raid at midnight.
Hangers flying high.
She in best drape.
Waving that brooch to the sky. She's got that sparkle in her smile.
That devil in her stride.
Stealing closets, cash and clout. Watch her take the ride. Trisha the grifter, queen of the con.
Grifting lonely ladies from dusk till dawn.
Phones and fortune, she takes them with glee.
Funding her fabulous, ridiculous spree.
Gold brooch pin right there on her chest.
Flashing brighter than the lie she tells best.
Trisha the grifter.
Ooh, what a thief living large on somebody else's greed.
Oh, Trisha, Trisha, what's a girl to do
when the well runs dry and the marks are few?
She just bats those lashes, spins another tale. Bless your heart, my darling.
Then she's gone without fail. Trisha the grifter, swinging through the night.
Stealing phones and purses from the dead under soft moonlight.
From lonely old ladies to Ramsey rants online.
She's funding chaos with somebody else's dime.
That big gold brooch catching every light on clothes that might belong to Beth B. Ain't that right?
Trisha the grifter, sassiest grifter in town.
Bow down, honey.
She's wearing the crown. Oh, Trisha. Trisha the grifter.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. That
Trisha the grifter.
swing it, girl.
Trisha the grifter.
Swing it, girl.
Trisha.
Trisha the grifter strutting down round.
All right.
Beth B's yard.
Good morning.
Brown loafer
Happy
heels clicking like she owning
Easter.
it.
He has risen. All right. I don't know if you made it to your sunrise service or if you're getting ready to go to an Easter lunch, or if you're like me and you're just going to have a nice, quiet day with the fam. Welcome. Glad you're here. Look, Jolene Lunzer was on fire last night. Okay. So when we finish up here, this is not going to be very long. So when we finish up here, I invite you to go over to Jolene's channel. Amazing. Look, This thing with Trisha of WebSleuth, it's busting out all over. It's busting out wide. It's messy. Trisha, you have been messy, girlfriend. Messy. And here's the problem. I'm okay with messy. We all get messy in our own ways. And I don't think that it is realistic that any one individual manages to go throughout their life without ever upturning the apple cart. Sometimes we flip our basket of apples and they end up all over the floor in a big mess, and we have to clean our mess up. It happens in a lot of different ways. Maybe you get fired from a job and you have to sell your house when you didn't want to. And so you go through a deep period of grief. Maybe you over rely on here. Talking about, we're going back into the 80's tonight, folks. Today, we're going back into the 1980s. Back when I was a hottie. Okay. Going back to the 80s. Cocaine. Man, that was big. In the business world, cocaine addiction became a real problem. People weren't using cocaine to get high and be mess ups, screw ups. They were using cocaine to try to get ahead. They were using cocaine to increase their productivity. And a lot of times it would get away from them and they would find themselves in full-blown addiction or just good old-fashioned alcoholism, right? There's all kinds of addictions out there. What about shopping addictions? People develop shopping addictions all the time. You got to be really careful. I was at I'm from Louisiana. And so in Shreveport and Bossier City, they put in a bunch of these gambling ships, like old-timey paddle wheel ships. And you go up onto the boat while it was out in the river, the Red River, or along the coast. You could go down to Biloxi. Biloxi's always a good time. Anyway, you can go down there and go gambling, stay at a nice hotel, eat good food, and have a nice weekend, right? But it can get away from you. If you get into gambling and you have a big win, you can spend the next 20 or 30 years blowing $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 just trying to win one of those $20,000 moments because it feels good. That dopamine. Yeah, hell yeah, baby. 20,000 big ones on one roll. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, you've spent $300,000 over 10 years trying to get there. So anything that will spike dopamine has the capacity to become an addiction. YouTube. You've seen creators lose their damn minds. They hit a period of good growth and they're getting new subs and good views. And then when it starts going away, they panic and they become more outrageous. Just chasing that dopamine high that when you check your account, oh, look, I've got 10 more subscribers or 100 more subscribers. So dopamine is the addiction neurotransmitter. Not because it's evil and bad, but because we like dopamine. Dopamine is the thing that makes us like, hell yeah, baby. Woo! Dopamine takes you from being a serious, studious psychologist to a woo girl. Woo! Yeah, baby, let's go. Woo! I'm a woo girl. Okay? So dopamine. Serotonin, yeah, it feels good, but a dramatically different way. Serotonin is the neurotransmitter that speaks to your soul. And it tells you the world is in balance. All is well. There's no worries here. There's nothing, no danger. There's no guilt. There's no shame. All is well. Okay, so serotonin and dopamine, these are two positive feeling neurotransmitters, but they're very different physical experiences. Interestingly enough, cocaine does in fact spike dopamine. Woo! Go dopamine! Yeah, baby! Okay, all right, now then. So Jolene Lunder busted wide open last night, had the greatest live. You got to go watch it. It's information heavy, so you need to be able to focus your attention, okay? But as I'm listening to she and to her and to Jay, and I'm going back to WebSleuth and I'm thinking through this and I'm thinking, these lives that Trisha's doing, they look very uncomfortable for me. Okay, so what you're looking at it's so creepy. Trisha's wearing a dead woman's clothes. Be me is exactly what Trisha's doing. Oh my God, cat lady, what in the hell are we witnessing, girl? Has she said that these are the clothes of the dead woman? Because that's what my video is about today. My video is about the fact that this lady, Trisha Griffith, she raided this woman's closet. I have no doubt in my mind. None. This is the uniform of the 1980s power working girl. And this jewelry that she's wearing, you see that brooch right there? That brooch right there, that is a huge tourmaline, and it's real. And I haven't worked out what the black stones are. I'm trying to figure it out. But that setting, that brooch right there is about $6,000. If I'm lying, I'm dying. She's worn it multiple times. I've been able to really zoom in and look at the stone and the way the light is moving through the stone. I collect jewelry, guys. I collect vintage pieces. I have a ring that was once somehow a part of the English royal family. I bought it down. We were in London and we went to what's called the Gate, which is like a market, like a huge flea market. And I went in, we used to go in there and look for like old rock memorabilia, like Janis Joplin, things like that. And this lady was selling jewelry, and I collect jewelry. And this lady was selling jewelry, and we started talking about it. She was talking about a necklace that I was wearing, and I was telling her about it. And then she said, well, let me show you this ring. And she brings the ring out and gives it to me. And I'm like, oh my God, it's gorgeous. I have to have it. I paid a lot of money for it. But I thought I was paying for the gold and the gemstones and the diamonds that were in it, right? So I get home, fast forward maybe 10 years, maybe. And I take it to a jeweler, cleaning it and everything. And the marking in it is the British royal family. There's literally a lion in it, literally. And the jeweler was like, where did you get this? I said, I bought it in this Gates, like flea market place. He said, this is the real deal. All right. So I collect jewelry. I think it's green too, Sketty Nona. I think it's green too. The stone is green. Yes. So if that is true, then we may be looking, I just don't believe that they would be emeralds that big. I just don't think so. If they were emeralds, that piece would be like $100,000, $200,000. I think it's probably more likely, given the time frame of like the 80s and the 90s, which that setting is iconic, 1980s, iconic. I kind of think it must be probably green tourmaline with the pink tourmaline. That brooch is a minimum of $6,000. I am not kidding you. I'm not using hyperbole. It's very valuable. The necklace, I kind of waver. Like I'm vacillating back and forth on the value. And the reason I'm vacillating, it's not the setting. I know what the setting is. I know what the beads are. I know what this is. But what I don't know is I don't know about that center stone. I don't know if that's actually a pink sapphire or it's kunzite. I think it's kunzite because it's kind of orangey, right? When she moves, it's a bit orangey. If that's the case, if that in fact is a pink kunzite, it's going to be a little less valuable than the pink sapphire. But that necklace is a designer. It's a designer necklace. It's a highly, highly collectible necklace. Minimum 16,000 minimum. So we have this woman who's living in a cabin and the damn roof caves in. She looks like hell. Every time she goes live, her old clothes are just all ratty, tatty, wrinkled, she barely brushes her hair. I mean, let's face it, the Trisha of today is not the same Trisha from even 2 years ago. Can we be honest with that? Inga says it's glass. Well, you know what? Even if it's glass, Inga, and you already know this, if it's glass, I don't believe it is because of the setting. Okay, the setting sort of tells you about the amount of time that was given to the piece to protect the gemstones. So the setting says that center stone is real. I don't have any doubt about that center stone. Not at all. It's real. It's a pink tourmaline. It's huge. When you really get in close to it, you can see the flashes of blue and red in it. But maybe the green stones around it, maybe that is Czechoslovakian glass, maybe. I would be okay with believing that. And that would mean that this piece was simply about the center stone, which is an incredible stone. When I say $6,000, that would be for the setting and the pink stone. That would be the minimum for it. If that turned out to be actual green tourmaline, it could even go up as much as 8,000, So there's a lot of these jewelry pieces that this woman's wearing. But even more interesting, I mean, the jewelry is a clue that can be tracked down, and you can get pretty close as to when it was made and where it was made. And once you figure out when and where it was made, then you can get a really good value on it. But this is not Juliana antique. No, ma'am. This is real jewelry. This is the crown of the 1980s working girl. Promise. I know. I was there. I lived it. You know what else is a huge red flag? That someone's closet was raided. Well, let me show you. I mean, Trisha, this is so bad, honey. I don't know why you are doing this. It's crazy. All right, so this pink necklace, it shows up time and time again. She really likes it. But I would be more interested in the brooch, right? I do think the necklace is more valuable than the brooch, but those brooches, you can date them. You can find the designer really easy. With necklaces, there's a lot of duplicate. There's a lot of people kind of looking at the big designers and then making something that looks like it. Brooches are different because brooches are coming in a solid piece of metal. It's very difficult to mimic a brooch, right? You got to be really, really good with the metal settings. Necklaces are easy. Those are that's bead work where it connects together. Here has the connector. This is iconic for the 80s. It's normal. All of this around the back, that's going to be little small beads, okay? The hat doesn't work. I don't know who told her to wear the hat. I just don't know. It's silly looking. She's wearing a 1980s corporate outfit, and then she put on this ugly ass hat. I don't know why. I don't know who told her that was a good idea, but it's weird as hell. But look at the shoulder pads. Enormous shoulder pads. And here's the big tell. Look at that satin / silk shirt. Right? Okay. Now, when we go through her...
She tormented her 12-year-old stepson. Then she killed him. Today, Letitia Stauch's conviction has been over.
People, listen to me from someone who is a jewelry collector. That pin? That necklace? I don't want to believe that the old lady went into the hospital and then Trisha moved in and went shopping at her house. I don't want to believe that. But I'm going to tell you what, if I was Dallas police, I'd be getting me a search warrant and going into her house and looking at this jewelry and saying, where in the hell did it come from? How can you afford that jewelry? You're looking at another $15,000 right there. Okay, so now we have the metal dove pin. We got another iconic center stone fashion necklace, right? Again, nice corporate workwear for a woman. This is actually what would be a like vested suit. If she were to take the jacket off, this would look like a man's vest. Typically, you'd wear like a silk shirt underneath that vest with a plussy bow tie around your neck. She doesn't even know how to match her jewelry to the clothing. It's really clunky and clumsy, right? But those shoulder pads, see.
Oh my God.
Oh,
he
gosh.
is on the stand
Oh my gosh,
saying that his wife held him by his kahunas and was beating him with a rock.
Where were you in the 1980s? What kind of work were you doing? And where in the did you get that brooch? Where'd you get it, huh? More of this very expensive collectible that looks costume, but it doesn't mean it's not really valuable. A couple $1,000s maybe. So, and the heavy chains defined women's fashion in the 80s. All of the big Chanel had, even her fabrics had these big clunky chains on them. This is clothing from the 1980s worth a fortune. It's worth a fortune. And everything she's wearing are satin shirts. I'm flabbergasted.
This is going to chill you to the bone. A woman was arrested for a robbery she didn't commit. All because AI said she looked like the suspect. No evidence, nothing. Just AI. She lost everything too.
Here.
Hi, this is Trisha. You're all back in my cowboy hat with your
jewelry. I want to know where you got this jewelry, and I want to know why you're wearing fashion that it would cost $50,000 in a vintage clothing store to get fabric and whatnot that's in that good of a shape. Why? Look at the brooch, guys. That's real. I can't believe what I'm saying. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Who does that? Who goes into some old lady's closet, some lady who was highly accomplished, who made big money, had these beautiful corporate work clothes. I have a closet. It's all of my work clothes. They are an investment, right? I've lost a lot of weight, so I'm really worried now what I'm going to do about, I have these very expensive clothes that don't fit me anymore. And I'm going to have to take them to like a seamstress and get them fixed because like I have a dress. One of my dresses was a little over $500. So you buy it and you say, okay, it's timeless. It's not going to be something that's going to go out of style. It's high quality fabric. It looks, really, really nice. So you make an investment. So if I'm going to do something like make a presentation or something like that, I'm going to pull out one of my good clothes. If I'm just messing around the house here, I'm not wearing those clothes. I'm wearing leggings and a t-shirt more than likely. But today I'm wearing Talbots, right? Talbots is sort of my store. But I know what these clothes are. I don't have any doubt what she's wearing. None at all. And I know that jewelry.
Get ready for major cringe. We're rolling out Duggar clips that did not age well as Josh Duggar heads into court tomorrow morning. Hi, Trisha here, your old bat in a cowboy hat with your WebSleuth True Crime Minute. And then tonight on WebSleuth YouTube Live at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, the link is right here in this video, we go back into the Nancy Guthrie case. Why were her doors propped open behind her house? We break down new drone footage from Brian Enton. And on WebSleuth.com.
Okay. Look. Right behind the super thanks sign is a different brooch. Look, right there. These are not shitty little antique brooches that she's wearing. They're heavy, they're substantial pieces of jewelry. And for a woman that was bringing in big money, a career woman with an oil company in the 1980s and 90s, that woman was making bank. You don't understand. These are real. And old Trisha, look at this little outfit. And a new brooch we haven't seen. We should be asking questions. What is that? That is a bee. That, again, was a big deal. Or is that an owl? I thought it was a bee. Now that I'm looking at it, I think it's an owl. Maybe it's from the 90s. But back in the 80s, they were doing like little bees and flies, but they would be diamond crusted. They would have gems on them, set in them. I've got a little tiny bee that was from my grandmother that's got a huge, the back end is a huge amethyst. And then the little wings, it's the cutest little thing, but I'm always afraid I'm going to lose it, but it's really cute when you wear it up on your shoulder, but you got to wear your hair up so it doesn't cover it, But that I think is actually an owl now that I look at it. Let's see what else. Same outfit. Those layered necklaces, that was, a big deal in the 80s. Yeah. You can look at the jacket that she's wearing and see that it doesn't fit her. It doesn't fit her. It's not hers. So Trisha, inquiring minds want to know, where did all of this vintage, expensive, high quality vintage, where did it come from, Trisha? And did you have any right to take it? Any right to take it? You know who would know? I'll tell you who would know. Daphne. Daphne would know if this stuff belonged to Beth B. Daphne. Oh, Fancy Nancy says that is a B. That's what I thought when I first saw it. And I can't do it today, but I'll try to remember to get my gold B and show y'all with the amethyst butt. Okay. Yeah, sure. Brooches have been popular from time to time, passed down. These brooches are a bit different, Carol Johansson. Look, they are. I love the antique brooches, the glass, love. So I've got a lot of the Juliana kind of brooches, very flashy and sparkly. These are different. They were a big deal during the 80s and then, well, actually started probably the end of the 70s, but they were a really big deal during the 80s and 90s. And they were done by these designers, and they were using heavy settings of either silver or gold. In the 80s, that was a time of excess. And so heavy, clunky gold was the name of the game all day long. I should bring some of my jewelry and show y'all so you can see the difference between like this is very delicate, right? This is very fine and delicate. But some of those rings and stuff from the 80s, you know, you could get even half an ounce of gold in one big clunky, huge ring. I myself am quite happy that we're not wearing that heavy jewelry anymore, but it was a thing. And these pieces that she's wearing in all of her little rolls are iconically collectible 1980 type heavy set jewelry. And worth so much money, y'all. So much money. So not to mention the clothing that she's wearing. I know clothes. I'm a clothes horse. Where'd she get the money for all that? So I have this horrible vision in my head that the poor lady is laid up in the damn hospital dying, and Trisha's running over to her house, raiding her damn closet and jewelry box. Oh my God, Trisha. Is this true? Right now, this is what? Speculation. Trisha, you don't have a right to those clothes or that jewelry. Oh my God, this is so bad. This goes from bad to worse. Oh, you have AB. Holy shit, AB. You have got to go get caught up on this story. You're gonna die. We're talking about, hold on. We're talking about Trisha with WebSleuth. Yeah, Miss Wonderful. Miss, I'm so honest. I'm the only honest, credible YouTube creator. You won't believe the story, AB. Like you're going to be dumbfounded. So go over to start with Jolene Lunzer's live last night, okay? Because she gives us more legal paperwork. She actually reads out the deposition for a different case that wasn't even about Beth B. This lady has the longest history of grifting, stealing, fraud. There is legal paperwork documenting every step of the way. She's not who she presents herself to be. And I want to know about these clothes and this jewelry, because that is something I do know. And when I look at those clothes, I'm like, yeah, that was the working girl. That was Miss, I'm never getting married. I'm never having kids. I'm going out into the world of work and I'm making my way in a man's world. And that is how I will show my woman power. And the woman never did marry. She never did have children. but she had a high-powered job with Mobil Oil back in the 80s. Good God, that woman was raking in cash hand over fist, which would explain where that jewelry came from. All right. You got to go look, AB. I want you to start covering this. It's crazy. It's the craziest story, but I have to go right now. I will share with you guys later, but right now we need to keep an eye on her fashion choices. See you guys later. Y'all have a wonderful Sunday afternoon. Bye.